was just proposing to my husband, oh, shall we go and visit our own private waterfall? And he was just like, but Kathy, I would have to do some work before I can take a break. And it's like 2 in the afternoon, so I was just asking him, but I thought you were going to write work package 2. He and I are here so that he can write his second ERC advance grant. And work package 2 is the second specific aim, for example, that you would have if you were writing an R01 that he was going to write today. And so I asked him, what have you been doing if you haven't been writing work package 2? And he was just like, oh, I've been fantasizing about this vacation to Dharamshala and the best places that you can have Italian coffee in McLeod. We are kind of on vacation and he's already fantasizing about his next vacation, which is fantastic. And because he just started writing work package 2 now, our daily visit to a waterfall is delayed, which gives me just enough time to record this YouTube video for you. And as I told you in my email newsletter, the vacation is not really a vacation. It's a half vacation in the sense that we're not working the normal 80 hours a week that you work as a physicist. There's plenty of time to soak up the sun and dangle my feet in the lake, which I'm doing right now. But mostly we're here to write. He is writing his ERC Advance, and I am here to create my next course, which is the much requested Yoga Lab for Scientists, which is gonna launch in January. If you want to get on the wait list, I'll link that down below for you. The reason that we needed these 2 weeks at the lake house in order to get a jump start on these projects is because real life is so busy, and I know that you will all understand that. Every scientist understands that you have a family that you need to take care of. You need to commute to the lab. You need to make food to feed yourself. And the reason that we came here for 2 weeks to jumpstart these big projects, which are really near and dear to both of our hearts, and the reason that we do what we do is because it is really difficult to do that in the hustle and bustle of normal life, when you need to water the plants, do the laundry, take care of your family, commute to the lab, pay your bills. All of those things have been put on hold for 2 weeks so that we can do what we love. And today, we're going to talk about why you should be doing that too. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kathy Charasia, a physicist and a career coach for brilliant scientists who are at a career transition. My job is to help you define your goals and create a strategy to reach them so that you can create a career and therefore a life that you love. The purpose of a 2-week grant writing vacation or work vacation is threefold. Number 1, you're exhausted. Trust me on this one. I know that you need a break. You're exhausted because the job is exhausting. Nothing's wrong with you. The definition of being a scientist means 80 hours a week of work. And even more if you don't know how to say no, which we covered in last month's video. Those of you who read Science in the City, my private email newsletter to my one-on-one clients, although now anyone can sign up, and if that's something that interests you, I'll link it down below for you. You know that I'm constantly hosting people, that they're coming in and out of my house, my nieces, my family, my friends, my clients, and it is just exhausting to be doing the laundry all the time, to be making sure everybody's fed, in addition to my normal obligations and responsibilities as a human being. And therefore, it is just great if someone else does the laundry. Think of all the people who I take care of. If someone isn't taking care of me, where will I get the energy, the resources, the love, for lack of a better word, to be able to take care of someone else? Taking a break where you're not responsible for the day-to-day activities of your daily life, that's not selfish, that's smart, and it's productive, and it's helpful. The second purpose is that you need a change of scenery in order for the ideas on a new project to come to you. obviously, my newsletter is called Science and the City, and that is my dream, to live in the middle of Amsterdam with this amazing house, my dream house with my dream husband and my dog, and you can walk to Vondelpark, and you can cycle to the opera, or even walk to the opera if it's not raining. That's my dream life. Although currently it is raining there, and here it's sunny. So as you can see, sometimes I need a break from my dream life. And I'm not in the city now, I'm in the mountains, in the Blue Ridge Mountains, which are just amazing, incredible, so beautiful. And this change of scenery, which in my life is going from the city to the middle of nowhere, to the boonies with no cell service, no internet, no data, no nothing, gives me the jump start that I really need in order to start this new project, in order to get the momentum going on something that I care a lot about. Which brings me to the third purpose, and that is to have the time and space to do something that will move the needle in your career. My husband's first ERC Advance is going to run out soon, so writing the second ERC Advance grant is essential to his career. It's not a side project like building another microscope. This is something that he needs in order to fund his lab and therefore to accomplish his career goals as a scientist. Creating Yoga Lab for scientists is essential to my career as well. I've been teaching the single molecule version of Yoga Lab, one scientist at a time, for a decade. And if you're a single molecule biophysicist, you understand that catching one DNA molecule at a time takes a lot of time, even though it's beautiful and incredibly valuable, and there's no way to access that information with an ensemble average experiment. I just don't have that kind of time anymore. I can't take on any more clients. And you have been asking for this for years. It's not some little side project like, oh, maybe I'll get to that when I have time. It's something that you need from me and I want to offer you. But practically speaking, I would never be able to do it without this little 2-week jumpstart vacation to get me started, to get the ideas flowing, to get myself organized. What's the data? What does every single person need? How can I create a course that would work for any scientist who takes it? That's months of data analysis, and these 2 weeks will allow me to get the head start on it so that when we get home, I can do it in chunks. The same thing as what my husband is doing. We talked about his grant and what should be in each of the work packages and how many they should be and how one follows from the next. He came up with a global structure of what goes into each of the specific aims or the work packages for an ERC Advance actually, and whether this particular method, is it specific to this biological question that you're answering, or is it a general method that'll be used for every single biological question? Things like that, which trip you up because you definitely do not want to write your grant in the wrong order. That takes a lot of work to fix it after that. And because he has the outlines and the ideas and he's read the literature and he started writing, it'll be a lot easier for him to break that up and write each of the specific aims when we get home. And if you're still struggling with those kinds of questions, your outline is not really clear, you don't have time to write, you're exhausted, you have so many other things to do, that's a clue that this could be you. And it could be helpful to take 2 weeks or even a weekend, any kind of work vacation, and take that time to nail that outline down. Take a rest, take a change in scenery, and take the time that you need to get the bones of your grant together. And if you can't afford a work vacation, not even a weekend, much less 2 weeks like I'm recommending here, I get it. I don't always have the privilege, the time, and the money to be able to go on vacation like this. I wasn't born with my dream life. I worked hard for it. And one of the tools that I used consistently since my PhD in order to accomplish the things that I have now is Work vacations. I only share details like this on my private email list, but I'm going to tell you this today because I think it can be helpful for you to hear it in the context of taking a vacation and whether or not you can afford it. I grew up an immigrant's daughter on food stamps and reduced lunch in the United States with a bipolar father and a schizophrenic mother, both parents who are physically and emotionally abusive. It took me a long, long, long time to be able to afford to go on a work vacation. But it has been essential to getting where I am today. For example, I wrote my Eigert Fellowship that funded my PhD in this exact lake house, sitting on this exact dock where I'm sitting now, listening to that exact waterfall, which you may be able to hear in the background. That was obviously some time ago because I'm here to celebrate my 39th birthday, and that every year in my life is better than the next. A more recent example is my faculty application a couple of years ago. The best one that I ever wrote was when we were in Cordoba on vacation, and my husband would be sleeping because he already had a faculty position and he didn't need to write any faculty applications, and I would get up at 7 a.m. with the sun in the beautiful courtyard with flowers cascading down, sit with my laptop and write. And that was wildly successful. That proposal became an ERC starting grant. It just worked so well for me. It's efficient, it's productive, it's one of the best gifts that you can give for yourself in terms of your career. So if you can't afford it now because maybe you're a lot younger than me, I promise you that there will come a day that you can. If it can happen for me, it can definitely happen for you. And when that day comes and you commit to taking work vacations, to tackle those big sticky projects that are in between where you are now and where you want to go, your career will accelerate and you'll see those accomplishments just come rolling in. But what if you don't know what that big sticky project actually is? Sometimes it's obvious, like I need to write my research statement for my faculty applications, or my husband needs to write his grant in order to fund his lab. But one of my clients was texting me, well, Kathy, I have 4 top priorities, which is mathematically impossible. And if this sounds like you, next week we're going to discuss your career strategy so that you know exactly what that project is that is going to move the needle in your career.